everyone, and welcome to your Module 2 discussion. At this point, we're moving beyond simply understanding what ethics is and starting to explore how different ethical frameworks actually shape decisions in research and practice. In other words, we're shifting from, hey, I recognize this concept, to I can apply it, evaluate it, and maybe even challenge it. In this discussion, you will work with two key components: an ethical theory and a worldview or faith-informed lens. Your task is to apply both to a specific HHP topic. So rather than staying abstract, you'll be asking questions like, what does this framework actually do when real decisions are on the line? First, you'll choose one ethical theory, such as utilitarianism, virtue ethics, or another relevant framework. Then you'll apply that theory to your chosen HHP topic. In this section, you'll need to clearly explain what the theory prioritizes when making decisions and how it evaluates harm, benefit, and responsibility. This is not just about defining the theory. This is about understanding and demonstrating that you can describe how this framework would actually guide decision-making in practice. Next, you'll apply a second perspective to the same topic. You may choose a Christian or ethical lens, or a Christian ethical lens, or a global or cultural perspective. This part is about examining how moral reasoning shifts depending on the framework we use, especially in relation to human dignity, justice, and responsibility. If you choose the Christian lens, you'll consider how concepts like human dignity, stewardship, or vocation influence decision-making. If you choose a cultural or global lens, you'll explore how values like collectivism or individualism or different moral traditions impact your decision-making. At the end of your post, you must bring both perspectives together. More specifically, you need to address where your ethical theory emphasizes outcome or efficiency, and where your worldview lens insists on dignity, limits, or moral restraint. This is the core tension of the assignment: dignity versus optimization. If that phrase makes you feel slightly uncomfortable or is unclear, that's a good sign. You're thinking in the right place. As a reminder, your discussion post needs to include at least 400 to 500 words, 2 peer-reviewed sources, and integrating sources throughout your writing. You also must demonstrate analysis and synthesis, not just summary. So yes, this is more than a here's what I read response. This is where you show how you think. A common mistake at this stage is treating ethical frameworks like separate boxes. Here's utilitarianism, here's Christian ethics, without actually engaging how they interact. That won't quite get you where you need to be. The goal here is to show how different frameworks can align, conflict, and reshape decisions. Take your time with this discussion, choose a topic that interests you, and apply the frameworks thoughtfully. Don't rush through synthesis. This is where your strongest work will happen. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out.